What is DHR in Alabama? DHR is an administrative agency that's part of the executive branch of government in Alabama. Why am I giving you the civics talk? Because law enforcement, police, firemen, Alabama state troopers, that's all executive branch of government. And we need to think about, or it's helpful to think about DHR the same way. This is the government trying to come into your world, into your house, and take away your children. They're going to give you the speech that we're here to help the kids, and they are. They are. That's their mission. But they are making their case. And just like you wouldn't speak to a police officer in an interrogation room without a lawyer, you have no obligation to comply with any request of DHR without a court order. When we represent clients working with DHR, do we always take sort of an adversarial stance? No, we're taking a pro-rights stance. I mean, in this day and age, when people are politically aware, and there's an opportunity to be aware. I mean, we talk every day about what our rights are. But then when it comes to the most important thing in our lives, our kids, well, we have to waive those rights and we have to let the government into our house. We have to waive those rights and go do whatever a government social worker tells us to do without a court order. No, come on. It's 2024. If DHR has left a business card on your door, has swung by your house, you have no obligation to speak to them on the phone. You have no obligation to allow them into your home. Now, listen, that's not without consequences. I mean, cops can arrest you whether or not you talk to them. DHR has a broad swath of unilateral actions they can take, but you don't want to do anything without the advice and advocacy of legal counsel experienced in defending DHR cases. The problem is, so often when folks reach out to us because they're in the middle of a DHR investigation, there's already been certain disclosures that have been made. There's already been certain rights that have been waived. Things have been signed. And it might be too late for us to provide not just defense. I mean, we're not trying to hide things, but simply to approach a case in the most effective way possible to get your children or keep your children home, as is your right. Hey, as an American, I mean, this is real live U.S. Constitution kind of stuff. So when we talk about what DHR is, they're an administrative agency of the executive branch of your state government. And they're going to be asking you to take a drug test. They're going to be asking you to come into your house. They're going to be asking you to meet with your kids. And you have every right to say, hey, I'm going to talk to my lawyer before I allow the government to do anything when it comes to my kids. You have every right to do that. And we're here for you. If you'd like to better understand your rights in your unique situation, let us know here at Foxtrot Family Law. So a lot of times the first contact that folks get from DHR is going to be a visit to the home. They don't want to call. I mean, they do, but you're going to hear a knock on your door, ring at the doorbell, and there's going to be a social worker. This is going to look like somebody from the government, and you can just not answer the door. If a DHR worker shows up with law enforcement, like traditional law enforcement, like somebody with a sheriff's deputy, perhaps, badge and a gun situation, it would probably be best to open the door, step all the way outside, close the door behind you, say, officer, how can I help you? The social worker might ask you to come in. You can ask, do you have a warrant? Do you have a court order that allows access to my house? They're going to say something along the lines of, no, but if you don't comply with our investigation, we're just going to take your kids. That's a scary situation. That's a tough situation to be in. And that's a situation in which one of the reasons we make these videos is to make sure that you out there understand your rights beforehand, so you're not having to think about this in the situation. And so you know that you have these rights, you can assert yourself. You have no reason, I mean, this is real life Fourth Amendment stuff. You have no obligation to allow DHR into your home. If it's a situation where a social worker has come to your home, you've not answered the door, they've left a business card, they've left a voicemail, that's the perfect opportunity to contact our team here at Foxtrot. Come in for an initial meeting, come in for a consultation with a lawyer, hire us as kind of consigliere counsel to monitor and manage your case while DHR is investigating you, because they can. Like, they can just investigate you. They could investigate me. They might be doing it right now for all I know. So even before there's an actual court case, you have every right to counsel and consultation in your communications with, if there are any, with DHR, if they are investigating you and your family. Now, one question folks ask, I've gotten a letter that says DHR has indicated me for child abuse or neglect. Can I appeal that? Can I challenge that? And the answer is unequivocally yes. Now, that is an administrative process that happens very quickly and is very technical. And if it's going to be worth your time and energy at all, you're going to need the advice and advocacy of DHR Defense Counsel. Those administrative appeals, it's not just like, what we read about with the Supreme Court. It's not that kind of appeal. It's an administrative appeal. There are some other more complicated options out there that we've gone through with some of our clients. But if you get some sort of letter with DHR, even if your children are still in your home, but DHR has indicated you for what they call CAN, child abuse or neglect, you have every right to representation and you have every right to challenge a finding of child abuse and neglect, even if your children are still in your home. That's going to affect maybe your ability to work at a daycare or maybe be a nurse in a certain part of the hospital. Just like when we talked about restraining orders and PFAs, those findings can affect, they call it collateral consequences. So when you're dealing with DHR, that can involve a lot of collateral consequences during processes through which you've never had any right or to appointed counsel. I mean, if DHR actually files something and you can't afford your own attorney, you might qualify for appointed counsel. But just on the administrative process, your rights are being affected, and you might have no idea how much they're being affected, and you've never had a lawyer during the process. So we're here to tell you, you have every right to consult, to hire private DHR defense counsel the split second you are contacted by DHR, and we would advise you to do so.